Okay, we go to next sutta, number 80, Vekhanassa Sutta. To Vekhanassa, thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anatta Pindika's spa. Then the wanderer Vekhanassa went to the Blessed One and exchanged greetings with him. When this courteous and amiable talk was finished, he stood at one side, and in the Blessed One's presence he uttered this exclamation, "This is the perfect splendor, this is the perfect splendor." Now we have another guy here with this perfect splendor. But Kachana, why do you say, this is the perfect splendor, this is the perfect splendor? What is that perfect splendor? Master Gotama, that splendor is the perfect splendor which is unsurpassed by any other splendor, higher or more sublime. But Kachana, what is that splendor that is unsurpassed by any other splendor, higher or more sublime? Master Gotama, that splendor is the perfect splendor that is unsurpassed by any other splendor, higher or more sublime. Kachana, you might continue for a long time in this way. So what follows is the same as the previous sutta. The Buddha shows him that he's talking nonsense. Yet you do not indicate what that splendor is. Kachana, there are these 5 chords of sensual pleasure. What 5? Forms cognizable by the eye that are wished for, desired, agreeable and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. Sounds cognizable by the ear, odors cognizable by the nose, flavors cognizable by the tongue, tangibles cognizable by the body, that are wished for, desired, agreeable and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. These are the 5 chords of sensual pleasure. Now Kachana, the pleasure and joy that arise dependent on these 5 chords of sensual pleasure are called sensual pleasure. Thus, sensual pleasure arises through sensual pleasure. But beyond sensual pleasure, there is a pleasure higher than the sensual, and that is declared to be the highest among them. And this was said, the wanderer Vekhanassa said, "It is wonderful, Master Gotama, it is marvelous how well that has been expressed by Master Gotama. Thus, sensual pleasure arises through sensual pleasures, but beyond sensual pleasure, there is a pleasure higher than the sensual, and that is declared to be the highest among them." And the Buddha said, Kachana, for you who are of another view, who accept another teaching, who approve of another teaching, who pursue a different training, who follow a different teacher, it is hard to know what sensuality is, or what sensual pleasure is, or what the pleasure higher than the sensual is. But those monks who are arahants, with chains destroyed, who have lived a holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached the true goal, destroyed the fetters of being, and are completely liberated through final knowledge, it is they who would know what sensuality is, what sensual pleasure is, and what the pleasure higher than the sensual is. And this was said, the wanderer Vekhanassa was angry and displeased, and he reviled, disparaged, and censured the Blessed One, saying, "The recluse Gotama will be worsted." He then said to the Blessed One, "So then there are some recluses and Brahmins here, who without knowing the past and without seeing the future, yet claim, birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there is no more coming to any state of being." What they say turns out to be ridiculous. It turns out to be mere words, empty and hollow. Stop here for a moment. So here, when the Buddha said that you, because you follow a different teacher, you don't know what sensual pleasure is, or the pleasure higher than the sensual is. So he got very angry. Actually, sensual pleasure, I guess he should know, but the pleasure higher than the sensual, he would not know. So he felt put down, so he got very angry. If any recluses and Brahmins, without knowing the past and without seeing the future, yet claim, birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there is no more coming to any state of being, they can be confuted in accordance with the Dhamma. Rather, let the past be Kachana, and let the future be. Let a wise man come, who is honest and sincere, a man of rectitude. I instruct him, I teach him the Dhamma in such a way that by practicing as instructed, he will soon know and see for himself. Thus indeed, there rightly comes to be liberation from the bond, that is, from the bond of ignorance. Suppose, Kachana, there were a young tender infant lying prone, bound by stout bonds at the 4 limbs, with the 5th at the neck, and later on, as a result of his growth and the maturing of his faculties, those bonds loosened. then he would know, I am free, and there would be no more bondage. So too, let a wise man come, etc. I will teach him the Dhamma. Thus indeed, there rightly comes to be liberation from the bond, that is, from the bond of ignorance. And this was said, the wanderer Vekhanassa said to the Blessed One, Magnificent Master Gotama, Magnificent Master Gotama. Master Gotama has made the Dhamma clear in many ways, etc. I go to Master Gotama for refuge, and to the Dhamma, and to the Sangha of monks. From today, let the Blessed One remember me as a lay follower who has gone to him for refuge for life. That's the end of the sutta. So you see, when the Buddha, this last part, told him that if really a person doesn't know the past and cannot see the future, yet he claims that the holy life has been lived, that he is not going to be reborn anymore, then he can be confuted in accordance with the Dhamma. That means not likely that this person, without knowing the past and seeing the future, can be liberated. The Buddha said, if a honest and sincere man, a man of rectitude, comes to me, a wise man, I can teach him, and he can attain liberation. And this wanderer probably has a high regard for the Buddha, and then he believed the Buddha and he took refuge. There's not so much Dhamma here. Let's go to the next sutta, which is quite a good